In Myrtle Beach, you always go at your own pace. Lie out on the sand, lie out by the pool, go boogie boarding, go surfing, walk the boardwalk, walk the marsh walk, golf at one of 90 golf courses, mini golf at one of 50 mini golf courses, fish off a pier, fish from a chartered boat, go shopping, get drinks, eat the freshest seafood. The list is exhaustive, but the experience isn't. You can go all out or do nothing at all. How you relax is up to you. There is so much to do and explore, whether you're traveling with friends, family, or just yourself. With 60 miles of beach, you're going to find your place. If this sounds like what you need, then this is where you belong.
Twisted Tea and Myrtle Beach Wholesaler Better Brands Incorporated. Know our consumers enjoy relaxing days on the water with Twisted Tea's original hard iced tea in hand. It's important to remember drink and boat responsibly. Choose to be or designate a sober skipper before leaving the dock. Do it for your family and your friends, your passengers, and everyone else on board. Twisted Tea salutes all sober skippers who take the pledge. Cheers, and we'll see you on the water.
Realtree has always had a connection to the fishing industry and the outdoor lifestyle. In 2016, Realtree expanded on the traditional business of creating the world's most effective camouflage patterns to create a fishing brand and family of patterns designed to connect the woods to the water and strengthen the bond between the two worlds. We couldn't be more excited to be working with the industry's top brands, retailers, and anglers to continue our growth, and we hope that you will join us. Enjoy Realtree fishing patterns inshore, offshore, on the lake, or at the dock. Learn more about the extensive line Realtree fishing patterns, apparel, gear, and more at Realtree.com. Trilogy Outdoors.
All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Trilogy Outdoors, and we have taken the show on the road, and we are in beautiful Santee Cooper country. We got an incredible invite by my good friend, Captain Joseph Dennis of Father and Son Outdoors Television and Whitey Outlaw. We'll talk about him a little bit later. He's a little bit of kind of big guy in the world of crappie fishing. I'm saying crappie, dang it. I'm not going to say crappie.
It's crappie.
This whole show I'm saying crappie. Just kidding.
Get it right.
All right, I'll say it right. But anyway, the Bassmaster has come down here with me, and we are without the Senator. So, Tony, you've got a pretty big job today, filling the Senator's shoes.
I hope I did.
Okay, perfect. Well, in case you've ever listened to Trilogy Outdoors podcast, he does a lot of talking. So, you think you can step up?
I don't know how.
That's all right. I'll cover it. But anyway, we are on the road, and we are at a media camp. Now, real quick, Whitey Outlaw and Joseph Dennis here have given me an incredible invite to come down here, and you know, it's a media camp. What is a media camp? Joseph, I'm gonna let you start. Tell me what's going on.
Well, you know, with sponsors and pro staffers, and we want to promote their product as much as we can and get a chance to bring the actual sponsors and the manufacturers and the people that developed and invented these lures and lines and rods. It's always best to get the information from them, and we want to share that information with as many people we can. Now,
you've got a pretty good lineup here. We've got Catch the Fever here. We've got Easy Drift. I know you got them lined up to sit with me. Santee Cooper Country is another big part of this. They're one of your bigger sponsors, and I know they keep you on the television. And many more. We're going to have them on the show. Rockport Rattler, who I've never learned about except through your social media, seeing you post them. But I'm going to find out more information exactly what they offer today.
And you know, Whitey's been doing media camps for probably 30 years.
Okay.
Much more. I've been doing them with him for about 4 or 5 years, but as far as media, he's got a system.
So what you're saying is Whitey understands the game, and now you're learning. Yeah. You know, I kind of feel bad that I didn't make my fishing trip this morning.
I feel bad you didn't. You screwed up the whole deal.
Congratulations, Grandpa. You got another grandbaby.
Man, thank you. Baby's
you got another grandbaby.
Give me 3 girls and a boy.
Well, that voice you're hearing is the one and only Whitey Outlaw. And Whitey, your name is infamous in crappie fishing throughout the Southeast, throughout everywhere. How long you been crappie fishing?
Oh, God, man, don't ask me that. I know on Santee Cooper Lakes, I've been fishing these lakes over 50 years. And I've been tournament fishing over.
You started when you were 2?
No, I wish I was that young. Yeah, I'm a little older than 2 now.
He's 72.
Yeah, more like 70. But anyway, Ain't quite 70, but anyway, I've been on it over 50 years, and my granddad had a place down here on the lake. Matter of fact, he paid $200 for his lot on this lake, so that tells you how many years ago, and that's before they ever backed water up on the lake.
Right.
But anyway, I took a liking to the crappie fishing, and my dad and my granddaddy fished a lot, hunted. Now, what time I ain't fishing, I'm in a deer stand or a dove field, but anyway, you know, with these media camps we got, everybody thinks, you know, they want to be a pro staff on a team, whether it's a rods or lures or line or a boat company, and it's always about what they can do for me. With the media camps, we try to give back.
That's right.
To the sponsors and guys like yourself doing radio deals, and then you got articles with the writers and pictures, and a lot of these pictures they take, we may not see these pictures for 3 years.
Yep.
But directly you pick up a magazine, Fin and Fur or something, and there it is.
You're right. There it is.
Because this gives these guys content to hold on and log back a year, 2, 3 years ahead of the game.
Yep.
And although things change, but the concept is still crappie fishing. We still after that speckle perch. But anyway, make a long story short, with the media camp, we try to cover all the new products, all the new companies, and all the old ones, especially the ones that support our TV show with Father and Son. And I think we've done a great job with that. Santee Cooper thinks we have, because they keep paying us to come back. And,
That's right.
And them people's been good to us. Miss Jane's been wonderful. But
well, you do have a kind of special place here that you promote as well.
Oh, it's a paradise. I mean, I have fished tournaments for 42 years now, and I have fished all over the country, out west, down south, north, east, any direction you name, any lake I've been on them. And always been lucky to do fairly decent, but nothing like Santee Cooper. Santee Cooper's got everything a man wants to fish. It's got flat water, you know. It's got deep water. It's got open water. It's got dead trees, live trees. We got 30 miles of swamp up here on the upper end that ain't even got a map on it, you know. And that's where I was born and raised, up on that swamp end. And, you know, when you see these guys on TV, the swamp people, hey,
Yep.
what they doing on TV, I've been doing my whole life. You know, it's nothing new to me. I love to watch it, but still, I ain't been no millionaire doing it. They did.
Right, they did. They were smart.
Yeah, they were smarter than
I don't know if they were smart or if Discovery or whoever ran. I think the TV station was the one that was smart, but they made a lot of money off of it. That's
right.
for sure.
You're right, but I'd like to think that I've been smart keeping it to myself. That's between me and God.
You know, you're right.
Me and God.
You're right about that.
They would weigh in 60 fish.
Yeah, back to first tournaments we ever fished, it was 60 fish tournaments out of Poplar Creek Landing. And, you know,
60.
Yeah, and I won the first one when I was about 15 years old, and I said, my God, this thing just set me on fire, and it's been burning in me ever since, and I'm 60 now, and I think, is it ever going to end? Well, I sure hope not, because it's been a good ride. I love this stuff. I love chasing them speckled perch all over this country.
Has it changed a little bit through the years?
Oh, Lord, has it changed.
I mean, you in an $80,000 bass boat
Yeah.
with $50,000 worth of electronics on it.
And
Would you have ever thought 20 years ago that you would want that?
Man, when we first started fishing these tournaments and all, traveling a little bit, you know, it was a dual craft or either a War Eagle. That's the only two boats I run. That's the only thing to take what we put them through. And, you know, 25 to a 30-horse motor. And I never thought I'd own a bass boat of no kind, ever, never. You'd have never told me that, because we fished with one paddle and a cane pole, and the first tournaments we ever fished was with cane poles. That was it, 10-foot cane pole jigging with a 17-pound strand line and a no-alibi jig. And most people don't even know what a no-alibi jig is today, because they ain't made them in 30 years.
You got some at your house. You don't have never mind, keep going.
Anyway, it was the only thing out there, yellow and red, you know, and then it was white and red. That was it. And my dad would buy me 2 cards of each in February. And if we lost one, we have to go get it. If it went up in the tree, you go get it, because he wouldn't buy but 2 cards of each. That's all you got the whole spring. And, you know, back then we fished from February to the end of April. Now, crappie fishing, we fish 12 months out the year,
right,
around the clock. It don't never stop, and it's a growing industry. I've seen it come from where we didn't even have depth finders on the boat. You know, you go out there and take a 12-foot cane and run down. Well, it's deeper than that. We need to move in some. But now they got $5,000, $6,000 units, and this live scope from Garmin has swept the market. I mean, if you don't have one, second best is all you're going to be. I mean, if you look up and win a tournament, it's absolutely luck.
Alton Jones said yesterday, if you're not scoping, you hoping.
That's
just-
It's changed.
He's telling the truth.
If you're not scoping, you ain't going to get in the money most of the time. And if you do get in the money, it's going to be 5th place or less. It's already been proven. It's statistic.
It's crazy.
I feel like, far as on the tournament trail, I was a pretty good contender because I had a pretty good run. I won a lot of tournaments and a lot of money, but I always spider rigged. Well, I know some friends of mine that one guy, matter of fact, Ronnie Capt, he won 8 national championships spider rigging. He's like me now. He's lucky to get a decent bag of fish to get in line with, because it's changed that much. And it ain't that we're that bad a fisherman. It's just the technology has passed us. And a 25-year-old man reading these graphs versus a 50 to 60-year-old guy, he's got you then.
Oh, yeah.
It's eye-hand coordination. It's eye contact. It's tweaking them units. And I fish around a lot, and I watch these guys that's steady moving knobs on there, and some guys put them down, don't never move knobs, but he ain't catching nothing. You got to steady work that machine. And the older you get, just say you can't teach old dogs new tricks. There's a lot of truth to that. You can't do it. You can do fair with it, but you won't master it like a 25-year-old guy will.
Right.
We got some in this business that's just unreal.
Yep.
And I'm just really proud to have been in it all these years and see it revolve into what it is. Not that I particularly like it, because it's took, and I hate to say this because it makes a lot of people mad, but it's took and made winners out of people that could not fish.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
It makes instant fishermen.
It does.
And that's the truth.
It's made fishermen winners out of people that could not fish beforehand, and now some of them has got it down to where they unbeatable. And a lot of people, old guys say, well, they ain't paid the dues. I don't know what kind of dues they're talking about. We just fishing. We're fishermen. And I love the outdoors. And anything.
You know these cute girls right here?
I seen that one time before. Do I know you?
Do you know this man? You know him? Well, I tell you what an incredible place up here. Let's talk real quick about the Clarendon Club. I mean, we got to give a shout out here to these people. This is a great place.
This thing's been in existence since 1930.
Wow.
My granddad was a member of it when it was strictly a dog hunting club. And I come over here a couple times as a kid. But the girl that bought it now, her and her husband, they have turned this thing into a money-making machine. They've had weddings here. They've had everything but funerals. And they got duck ponds. They got deer woods, squirrel woods, rabbit woods, turkeys. They got everything you can think of, and good accommodations, good people. And Whitney and them will work with you on anything you need to do. Swimming pool, skeet shooting deal here. So, I mean, they got everything you need. So if people out there is listening, if they ain't ever been to Clarendon Club, go online, check it out, guys. You will like this place.
I agree. And I'll tell you the other thing, if you bring a big crowd out here and you want to eat, give our friends over at Lone Star Barbecue a call.
Lone Star Barbecue over there. It's right in front of the golf course at Santee going towards State Park. You can't miss it. It's the old buildings on the left, and they moved them buildings from Lone Star, South Carolina, over there towards Low Fall Landing, over there and made the barbecue place. So y'all check that out. That's good eating, good people. Give them a hit.
Now, do you guide?
No, sir. My son does. He's a full-time guide.
Okay.
I do not like people that much to be with them every day. I go to be with me and Lord. I like to just me fish by myself. That's just my deal.
Look here.
And, I can't help it. I don't mean it no disrespect.
Nope.
I just enjoy it.
None taken, because I got it for 14 years, and I've enjoyed the last 6 years a lot better.
Yeah, I guarantee
he tolerates me.
Yeah, I done raised my kids, all 3 of them grown. I don't have to bait no hooks and tie no more lines and stuff now except my own.
Well, now you're raising Joseph, though.
Well, Joe, he does pretty good as long as he's on the camera. Give him a fishing pole. He gets a little nutty, but he's okay. He's all right. He's all right.
I had a good time with him.
All in the boat position.
I had a great time with him on the water. I tell you, I've been with him a couple times with him in front of the camera as well. We had a good time on the water, but I can't thank you guys enough for having us down here. And Father and Sons Outdoors TV, what days are it on TV? What channels now? Come on, we're on Pursuit.
Sunday morning, 11:30, WCBD Channel 2, NBC.
Okay, that's for anybody that's listening. That's down in Charleston, but let's talk national. What are you on?
Tuesday night at 11 p.m.
Yep.
Wednesday night prime time, 6:30 p.m. Friday night, 11 o'clock p.m. on Pursuit Channel.
Perfect. And I know you got some good guests lined up for me to interview for the while we sit here and enjoy this incredible dinner. So I'm going to start getting those interviewers over here, and let's do some talking. Y'all got anything else you want to share?
No,
can
sir.
always-
Just glad you were here.
You can look at all our past shows at pursuituptv.com.
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 That's perfect, dude. And by the way, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, brother. You worked hard. You've gotten there, and you found you a good partner in crime to help you. And I'm looking forward to getting on the fish tomorrow. I know Whitey doesn't want me on the boat because I won't wake up in time probably. But listen, leaving at 4 in the morning to get here, that was a lot on me. Okay, I had a rough day on the river yesterday duck hunting, and
In the summertime.
he also did not tell me that I was going to be in the boat with you.
Well, we going to get in the
I
boat
might have
tomorrow.
drove down here last night if I'd have known that.
Well, if I'd known you wanted to go that bad, I'd have just come and got you.
Well, I'm just not going to throw any subtle hints out except the fact that if you have room first thing in the morning, I'd love to get in the boat with you. So.
I think we can work something out.
All right. Well, listen, folks, we're going to start talking to some of these wonderful partners, sponsors, and pro staffers and everything that's here. But we got a great show for you today. So let's see who Joseph's going to line up first. All right, folks, I told you we were right back here at Trilogy Outdoors on the podcast with our next guest. And we are joined by Mr. Brian Fondal.
Yes, sir.
I said it right.
Yes, sir.
Not fondue?
Not fondue.
Are you sure it says fondue on here?
No, it ain't fondue.
Mr. Brian Fondal of Easy Drift. And there's one thing that I'm learning from spending the time on the water today and sitting here and interviewing everybody. You know, crappie fishermen like everything to be perfect. I'm telling you, everything from baits to the boats. I mean, I'm looking up there at the boat, and the best thing I can do to look at these guys' boats is to compare it to my 8-year-old daughter's bedroom. I mean, she's got a TV over here. Everything is just laid out perfectly. That's how crappie fishermen are. How do you help them with that? What do you offer them at Easy Drift?
You know, like you said, the bedroom, you know, with the TVs, we've got 2, 3, 4 TVs up front.
I know.
Some of them are hooked to the trolling motor. We have our wire management that instead of using zip ties, which is a no-no on this electronic, because when you zip down too tight, you
actually pinch the
the grounding in there, and you get a lot of feedback and distortion on your picture. So you know, we got thinking, how can we prevent that from happening? And the black tape, you know, is good to use, but out in the sun a lot, that glue gets, you know, it breaks down.
Yep.
Like everything does in the UV sun. So we come up with these clips that fit the Minn Kota Ultrex, the Garmin Force, and the Lowrance Ghost. And these clips, they basically just snap straight onto your trolling motor shaft. You've got 2 different wire slots, so you can put your transducer for your live scope on there, or the all 3 of them, the active target and the mega live. Or if you run a separate transducer on the bottom of your trolling motor, if it's not built in, we've got a slot you can run that wire to. A lot of the bass guys are using the Hydro Wave, you know, so we've got that wire slotted also. Then on top of the Garmin live scope, your first 2 generations, the first one they come out with the double wire, the second one they come out with the single wire, and that's your 32s is what we're referring to. And so we come up with a hood to protect that wire where it comes out of the transducer. A lot of guys were having trouble with that wire breaking. So we come up with a hood. Garmin's already got it drilled and tapped for screws. So we come up with a hood that fits over that, protects that wire, acts as a cast to keep that wire from bending back and forth, because we all know what happens to wires when they start bending back and forth, they break. And that's a $1,500 investment. A break. And you know, so we come up with that hood, you bolt it down, we send 4 screws that fits that bolt pattern. You tighten it down, you don't have to worry about that wire breaking no more. So, you know, for $25, you save $1,500 in the long run, you know, from
That's
anything
great.
happening to
Yeah.
that.
I'm going to have to get up there. Now, did you bring your boat? Do you have your boat here, or is there a boat here that's rigged up with it?
There is a boat here.
Okay.
We've got everything in bright colors so you can see it, you know, because when you buy it off our website or in the stores, everything's black to kind of blend in. on our boats, we've got it where everybody can see it. You know, they're orange and yellow, so it really pops out.
I like your colors. I helped you with your tablecloth earlier. I love the yellow. It shows out.
It does. And, you know, also we've got new this year is our transducer clip. You know, when you buy these units, they come with a 4-bolt clip to bolt onto the trolling motor. We're real close where I live in western Kentucky. We're about 45 minutes away from Reelfoot Lake. Lots of stumps. The guys down there were saying, man, we're breaking these clips left and right. I've broke a few clips myself. And so we come up, you know, we got the wire management clips that you protect your wires. And we said, man, we need something to protect that transducer. So we come up with the clip that will break free if you hit a stump hard enough. If you just bump the stump, that transducer will spin instead of breaking the bracket. And all you got to do is pull your trolling motor up, turn your bracket the way you want it, and then you're back to fishing. So you don't have to go to the boat ramp,
right?
You know, when you hit something and break it. So we've got that. As far as wire management stuff, we do have some newer products coming out to fit the 34, the new live scope that's out. We were also looking for some hoods. We got in the works. We've got a few sitting on the table over there that's getting ready to go out to some of our pro staffers to really beat it to death and make sure it's going to work. But it's going to be the hood for the Humminbird and the Lowrance as well, to protect those wires, because I mean it's an expensive investment that we invest in, and we got to protect it. So
Amen.
That's where we're at in that. And
how about the bait pins? Y'all do the bait pins, don't you?
We do the bait pins, and everybody's like, man, what is a bait pin? So the bait pin, if you remember the Pez dispenser.
Yep.
All right, the bait pin works on that same concept. It holds any of your scented baits, your crappie nibbles, your slab bites, any of the pelletized baits. You just pull the cap off of it, slide your slide out, you load it up. There's a fill line, so you don't overfill it. Put your slide back on, hang that dude around your neck. And when you're out there fishing, you don't have to worry about digging in that jar or not. I'm the world's worst about not putting the lid on the jar, you know, tight enough.
Right.
Kick it over, you know.
Yep.
You go to grab
and then everything smells and tastes like it.
Exactly. If you got carpet in your boat, it sticks in the carpet, and, you know, you got a polka dotted floor. So that was another a problem that we were having and seeing a lot of people. So we problem solvers, so to say, you know, to make things simple for the crappie fishermen. And
that's great. Now, were you a crappie fisherman before you got into all this?
Man, I kind of fish farm ponds and stuff, and I'm a real competitive guy. I'm like, I want to try some crappie tournaments, you know, and just see. And, man, it was the best decision I ever did. You know, I meet a lot of nice, awesome guys, you know, and get to do these media camps. I mean, man, it's just awesome, you know.
That's great. Did y'all have y'all done the ICAST?
My partner, Brad, he went to the ICAST this year. I couldn't go, and but next year I plan on making the ICAST, and he said it was awesome. You know, once again.
Yeah, we hadn't been yet either. We're going next year definitely. We need to go.
Yeah, he said it's huge, and I mean, if you can think about it, it's there. So.
Yep, exactly. That's what I hear. Y'all got anything else? And how can people find out exactly what you guys offer? Is there a website to go to? You guys?
There's a website. It's easydrifttrollingsystems.com. We're on Facebook. You know, we're always posting stuff about our products, how they work, and our pro staff guys are putting stuff on there, because these guys are out there every day trying it out, you know, running it through the ringer.
But there's no better person to ask than a fisherman.
That's right.
Because they know what they want, what they need, and they know what they're going to tear up and don't tear
Oh,
up.
absolutely.
So, you don't get no better info than talking to them themselves.
And we are good at tearing things up.
Oh, you better know
yeah,
it.
that's right.
We are. If you don't believe me, just ask my wife.
Yep,
that we do tear up a lot of things. Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, thank you so much for sitting down with us. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be on the boat at some point in time together. You fishing tomorrow, or you got to head back?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, we're fishing.
Yeah, hopefully we'll, we missed this morning's first fishing, the first segment. And I heard the fish bit pretty good then. We got here when the sun was up, and
it got tough.
I heard it was tough, but
hey, I'll put a bait pin in your hand and let you use one of them. See how you like it.
I'd love to try it. And I got some good drone video, y'all. And I'll make sure y'all get it. So, man, it was a great time. And like you said, crappie fishermen are good people, dude. I can tell. They, They're competitors just like everybody else. They just fish for a smaller fish. I'm just kidding. That's my joke. I had to say that. I had to throw that out there. You know, I always called a hard time. Years ago when I started in outdoor television, I was a saltwater fisherman. That was it. And my big saying was this: saltwater was for fishing, freshwater was for drinking. And then that one over there got me hooked on bass fishing, and then I said, you know what? Real men come to the river to go try and catch a bass. You go to the saltwater when you want to catch something to eat. If you really want to go work, you go to the river and go try to catch a bass. But we do have some crappie down there on the coast. Don't let us fool you. We've caught some, nothing big, but I know there are some somewhere, aren't there, Tony?
There's 2.5 pounders around there.
Well, that's a good fish.
I normally switch in January too. We'll go in January. Spend time in January and February. That's when we'll do it. But we got too many other things to catch down there. But now I got to check out all these bait pins and everything tomorrow. You make sure you get one with me. I don't want to be spilling any of that crazy stuff all over me. But
Hey,
we're going.
And you know, with the bait pins too, it keeps you out of trouble too at home with your wife, because you got some of them little nibbles are glittery. So hey, you know, you go home with a lot of glitter on.
You know what that sounds like? Yep. No, honey, that's my new that's my new lotion, honey. I got my new lotion. No, you just go buy when you're bad. You just go buy a bottle of lotion that's got some glitter in it and keep it in the car. Right. Oh no, honey, I put on.
That's right.
Oh man. Anyway, well, listen, Brian, thank you so much, and we got another wonderful guest coming up. So let's see who that's going to be. All right, like we said, we would be right back with another one of our incredible guests here, and we're going to go to the media side. We've got Mr. Ed Mose. Is I'm saying that right? Yep. Ed Mose from Crappie.com.
Crappie.com.
Now, you know, it's hard for us in the South. I'm fortunate I'm on a national television show, and my boss is continually on me if I mess up and say crappie. But it's crappie. We're going to say crappie. But, well, let's talk about your website here. You guys promote crappie fishing in every form and aspect, I guess.
We're a forum, so we have 100 different fishing forums, a forum for each state that have crappie in it. You know, we've got gear repair forums, making, making forums and do-it-yourself stuff. So we got a little bit of everything. Essentially, we've been around since 1996, 75 to 100,000 page views a day.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Now, I want to ask you this. Are you like me? Did you get into what you're doing because you wanted some questions answered and you couldn't find the answer?
No, I'm a computer geek and an outdoor.
Oh, there we go.
And
okay.
an outdoor enthusiast.
Well, I'm definitely not a computer geek. Trust me.
In 1996, we figured out the internet was here to stay, so we bought a domain name, and it went from there, and it grew. It's all grassroots.
But did you ever think it would be what it is now, though?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, I go backwards all the time. I do. I mean, I'm in my business, I'm in charge of sales and everything else, so I have to do a lot more than just push stuff on social media. So it's a lot of work. But I tell you one thing, freshwater fishing as a whole, all of fishing since the pandemic has grown exponentially. You know that. I'm going to guess, I would go on a long limb and say that in the last 3 years, your numbers of forum users or subscribers or whatever has probably increased in the same way.
It has grown steadily. The pandemic, really increased the participation rate kind of thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So everybody wanted to go out and fish. There's nothing else to do. So.
There was nothing else to do. It's all we could do. I mean, the best place to get out and do your social distancing was on a boat. I mean,
absolutely.
Or on the shoreline or on a dock. It doesn't matter. Well, I'm going to guess, and I'm going to jump out on a long limb and say that crappie are your favorite fish to fish for?
Crappie fishermen are fishermen. They pretty much like to fish for, the bluegill, panfish, everything,
right.
Catfish. So, but crappie fish are my favorite. So, absolutely.
Now,
they're the best eating, right?
Where in Florida do you live?
I live an hour north of Orlando on the Harris Chain of Lakes.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. That's a great fishing area, by the way. I was down this winter and got to experience Okeechobee, Florida, and actually stayed is it Okeechobee, the town there? I'm trying to remember the name of the town. But anyway, I was right on this northern edge of it, and what a beautiful area. And I didn't get in the lake. I did go with a guide, and we fished the outside of the lake. But I heard that the crappie there can be incredible at times of the year.
Crappie are on and off, like, any lake in the country kind of thing. But
You mean like today they were?
no, today they were, it depends.
They were on and off.
It
They
depends
were
on who you
on in the
fished
morning when I wasn't here, and then when I got here, they turned off.
Kind of depending on who you fished with. So.
Oh, you're right. Oh, so did you fish with Whitey at all?
I did.
Okay, so yeah, you did get to catch fish. Well, I'll tell you what. So if somebody wants to go and check out this site, the crappie.com, crappie.com.
It's a free message board. Anybody can join, and it's family friendly. 100%. We're patriotic. There's no personal attacks. There's
Awesome.
no politics allowed on it at all. It's like sites like Facebook should be run.
Yes. So what you're saying is exactly the way a true forum should be run, where people aren't bullying others. I love all the armchair professional anglers from all the social media, and there can be some nasty stuff said on there, but having someone to monitor and police that makes the experience overall so much better.
Yep. We've got 100 moderators for the site, so.
And so, for me, being from South Carolina, or several people here from North Carolina, they can go on there find South Carolina questions.
Yep.
They can
It has its own forum, so.
That's great.
And there's each state has its own moderator. They'll have their own events during the year and stuff. We have get-togethers, which were greatly reduced when the pandemic happened and stuff. But it's starting to pick up again, and. The get-togethers are really just get-togethers. Some of them have, fruit jar tournaments type things associated to them.
Right.
Most of them don't. They're just fish fries and fish, and they might have a big pot prize, a big fish prize or something, and that's it. So they're all friendly, and that's how crappie fishermen are. They're friendly folk.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could tell that today. Every boat that I got on today, I had a blast, and I'd never met any of the people I was with, and, just every single one of them willing to share tips, willing to share what they were doing, and it's new to me. I do crappie fish at times, but to watch them on a video game like I did today,
right.
It's a little different. So
it's different to me, too.
Everything was explained to me, and I had a great time. So I know you'll be sharing some of this probably in your forum as well, and the things that have gone on in yesterday, today, or last night, today, and tomorrow. So go visit crappie.com and check out their page. Thank you so much. We're going to – I don't know. I know he's got some more people lined up over here, but, man, the food was good, wasn't it?
Yo, it was awesome. I'm so full I can't even have a
Well, I've got a banana pudding over here, and I'm trying to finish eating, but I'm too busy talking. But it's a pleasure meeting you.
Very much so.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, folks. That's Ed Mose from crappie.com. Now, we'll be right back. I know Captain Joseph's out wrangling up somebody else to come over and sit with me, so just hang tight 1 second. All right, welcome back, folks. And once again, it's Trilogy Outdoors. We're going to cover everything fin, spur, and feathers. And I'm joined now by one of South Carolina's premier outdoor riders. Let's say Carolina's premier outdoor riders, Mr. Brian Cope. And once again, I'm going to make a quick joke, but I think Brian does get paid by he gets paid by the Carolina Sportsman Magazine and by Joseph Dennis, because he seems to be Joseph's personal writer, but y'all always put out a great story whenever y'all are together. And Brian, thanks for joining us and sitting down with us real quick. How long have you been in outdoor riding?
I started in 2006. So
oh, really?
I'm not good at math, so however many years that is.
I think in my quick version, that's 16 years.
I'll go with that.
I think 16 years. Well, that's a lot of time. Now, avid outdoorsman or just?
Yeah, I grew up hunting and fishing, and I also loved riding growing up, so it was kind of a perfect job for me to marry the two things that I enjoyed the most.
Absolutely. Why not make money doing both?
That's right.
And so what's going to be your favorite thing to target on the water or in the woods? What's your favorite?
Oh, my goodness. People ask me that all the time, and my answer is usually whatever the last thing I fished for was.
Whatever,
yeah.
Exactly.
But I really love all of it. I grew up mainly brim fishing here at Santee and on Wateree a lot and doing some crappie fishing. But, man, I love all of it. Red fishing, really anything that will bite the hook is my favorite.
Well, I feel bad for a lot of these freshwater guys that never get a chance to fight a redfish. They don't realize what they're missing, do they, Tony? We've talked about it. It's fun to catch a bass, but you take a 5-pound bass and a 5-pound redfish, put them together, tie them tail to tail, and that poor redfish will drown that bass. We all know that.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
They are. But, you do an incredible job writing stories. And what have you seen? I mean, have you not – Tony and I were talking about it on the way here today. Have you not seen the last 3-4 years the incredible growth in freshwater fishing?
Absolutely.
In every part of it. Don't you agree? Or is it just bass? Or is it crappie,
it's all
catfish?
of it. It's all of it. I mean, just the equipment itself, that's come so far, but also the techniques that people use and the I don't want to sound snooty, but the class of anglers is, for every species has really stepped up. And, I agree with you completely. What used to be mainly bass when it came to freshwater, now, they're just about equal now.
That's the truth. And stepping on all the boats I got to step on 3 different boats today. Tony fished on 2-3 different boats. And on every boat we got on the front of that boat was a $3,000-$4,000 unit going crappie fishing. I'm like, who would have thunk that?
That was 2 to 3 to 4 of them.
I mean, who would have thunk that?
Yeah,
10 years ago, who would have thunk that how important that was going to be?
Yeah, it's changed a lot for sure.
Well, it just makes those brush piles a lot easier to find and a lot you know what's on them. I mean, Tony got to watch his crappie that he called. He got to watch it come up, look at his jig, eat it, and reeled it and caught the fish. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's something I just would never imagine. And then now to see that 3 major companies have the same system of some sort out there, and that they're working together, and man, it's a game changer. I think people fall behind if you don't have it. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I fished with some of the guys that have that equipment, and I said where they're missing out is they need to really market that to the kids at home playing video games, because this is like playing a video game, except it has a real payoff that you can actually touch.
Yep.
And that would help get those kids outdoors and doing what we grew up doing.
Well, I'm sure Patrick Walters, you've talked to Patrick Walters, and Tony and I talked to him. We had him on our radio show right after Lake Fork. Lake Fork was where he caught his 100-pound bag, the first one, and won. And he said it. I mean, he had spent the last 4 to 5 months prior to that learning to video game fish.
Exactly, yeah.
And it made the difference. And I mean, you look at a guy like that who went through college, who won the national championship in college twice, right? No, once or twice. I think he won it once, but Carolina won it twice. Right. But anyway, you already know he's a good fisherman. And then you hear him that he had to spend 4 to 5 months learning electronics.
Yeah.
It's not just like plug and play and go. You still got to be able to read them.
Yeah, absolutely. They put in a lot of work just to learn the new equipment now, and which is probably a part that turns a lot of anglers off.
Right.
If you want to stay in the game these days, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, if you're in a tournament and I got to fish against these same guys in here, and I know what they've got on the bow of the boat, I'm not going to enter it if I don't have it. I mean, it makes a big difference. You can. You or I can go out and put our own our own brush piles wherever we want to put them, and we know where they are. But doesn't mean that pile is going to have fish on it.
Right.
That's the thing. We went across several today in the afternoon when we were out with I can't remember who we were on. Nick this afternoon, and some of the piles didn't have any fish on them. And then you'd go to one, and it was just lit up, you know.
And couldn't get one of them to bite. Just because they've been pressured all day.
Yeah.
That's right, because there was a little bit of pressure on them between the 7 and 8 boats. But functions like this, these things are fun.
Yeah.
This is my first one. I know you're a member of the Outdoor Writers Association here in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, the South Carolina Outdoor Press Association.
Yep. And do you know that other guy from the beach that writes a little bit for y'all? Do you know him at all?
I hope you're not talking about Jeff Burleson.
My good friend Jeff Burleson, yes. Yes, that's who I'm talking about. He has tried to talk me to join that group forever and ever, and then now Jeff Dennis is a good friend of mine, and so he's finally talked me into it. But it is, this is a great idea, not only for Whitey and for Joseph to make the relationships, but it's a great idea to get us here, get us introduced to these guys from Easy Drip, from, Catch the Fever, from all these, and open that relationship up for us because, I mean, you're more in the business of writing, which you're incredible at, and I'm in the business of selling, so I got to sell the ads to keep the magazine going.
Right.
And your capacity may have changed, but I thought you're a freelance writer, but you're with Carolina Sportsman Magazine, correct?
I'm the editor of.
You're the editor.
Sportsman.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I started as a freelancer with Carolina Sportsman.
Okay.
And that's what I started doing in 2000.
Now, I wonder it was so important for you to be there today. Okay, yeah, because if you were freelancing, you wouldn't have been worrying about going to production.
Yeah. So, our editor that we had ever since I started freelancing with us retired last year.
Okay.
And I was the editor of our website for the past 5 or 6 years. And so when he retired from the magazine side, I moved into that role as well. So.
Now, the publisher of that magazine is?
The publisher changed recently.
Did it really?
Steve Loper is.
Oh, that's a new one. Okay.
And,
well, I was in a book of the previous publishers.
Yes.
His Redfish book.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
Yes, Dan. And I'd actually took Dan redfishing in the inlet. Me, Dan, and I think Burleson was with us. I can't remember, but we went through and did the hot spot thing. Remember when he would go around and y'all would do like a hot spot and mark out some spots, and that's a great idea. But love the magazine. I commended you earlier. The story that you did on the redfish and the red snapper and the proposal that was out there was perfect because I think unfortunately a lot of anglers don't see the seriousness of this. They don't understand. Once something is taken away, we're not getting it back. If you look back at red snapper, look at black sea bass changes. Look at what happened. I mean, you're dealing with the same thing. It's easy for them to take it, but it's a lot harder for us to get it back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
the
I look.
record shows you don't get it back.
You don't get it back, and then the unintended consequences of what they're doing, could have an impact on other species outside of just red snapper. So.
Thank you. It's taking that pressure and moving it around to another species, and then taking that pressure over here. Have you? Do you know my partner, Senator Stephen Goldfinch? Do you know Stephen at all?
I met you at one of the meetings that he put on several years ago. I think it was about redfish.
Right, about redfish. Yeah, Stephen, dives a lot. That's his big thing. And when I took him in November, and he jumped off the boat, and he dove down, and he came up, and he said he was met halfway down by 25 to 30 red snapper, and the smallest were 20 pounds, but he said there were 2 that were 40 plus in it. And then he said he looked down, and he saw some grouper, and no black sea bass, no silver snapper, no vermilion snapper. And, I mean, we know that a genuine red snapper can eat a lot. We know they're aggressive, but, unfortunately, I think they're making a huge impact on the areas where they are because we're not bothering them. We're not taking them. We're not harvesting them.
Yeah. They got free reign,
and they got Mother Nature on their side. Every time we get 2 days or 3 days for them, the winds blow, and none of us get to go fishing.
Yep.
It's terrible. Well, are you fishing tomorrow?
I will.
Okay,
I will be
good.
fishing tomorrow, yep.
Good. I'm going to be out there tomorrow. I'll be flying the drone and hopefully get to catch a fish or two. Tony got to catch one today. I would like to catch one and get to watch my bait get taken on that incredible electronics.
That was pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It was.
Did you snatch it away from the small ones? And
No. It was a small one that he caught, but he was just so happy that he got to see it.
That makes it a lot of fun, doesn't it?
That was actually the first time I've ever had the opportunity to deal with wide scope on a boat and actually see it in action.
Yeah.
And it was incredible, and I can understand real quickly why these guys love it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yep, exactly. Well, Brian, thanks so much for taking the time and coming over here. And I know you got a full belly like the rest of us. Man, that food was good.
That was good, and I appreciate you having me on here, and enjoy the show. I listen as often as I can, and I'm glad to be on the show.
Well, we appreciate it, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Brian Cope, and if you want to check him out, all you got to do is go pick up the Carolina Outdoor Magazine, Carolina Sportsman Magazine every month, and you'll find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 incredible articles by him, and Joseph will be in one of them.
Yes.
I got to give Joseph hell. I always do. All right, hey, we got another guest lined up. Don't go anywhere, folks. Just stay right there. All right, folks, I told you we were coming right back with some more super guests here, and we are with a sponsor, a product developer. We're with the one and only Caleb Page from Catch the Fever.
Wow, I don't know if I really
We've
deserve that
You
introduction.
know what? Here's the crazy thing about social media. We've been friends for a long time, and we never met each other. We've been friends forever.
Yep.
But man, I love following you. I love seeing how. I watched you start this. I watched you from the. How long has it been? 6, 7 years?
It's been 6 or almost 7 years, so you're dead on 6.
Yeah, when you started, and now what you've developed. Now you're at ICAST showcasing everything. You've got that big, beautiful warehouse up there now, and everything. Let's talk about exactly what Catch the Fever offers.
Absolutely. Well, Catch the Fever, we're a performance-based fishing rod company right in a little town called Roxboro, North Carolina. But our mission statement is providing premium gear for anglers regardless of your pursuit. When we first started out, we were cat fishermen in our area. That was a really big deal. We didn't really have a good rod model for those guys. We understood what we needed to do, what we needed to create. We did it. From there, it led to Striper. From the Striper, it led to our Hellcat rod series, and then we're in the Crappie business now.
Yep,
it's exciting.
Is Whitey kind of your
product guy?
Product guy in there? Yeah, I got to see a couple of his on the boat today. I was on the boat with Brian, one of your pro staffers.
Yeah, Brian Perry. He's a good dude, and it's when you've got your hands in so many things, when you're trying to design products for different species of fish. One man can't know everything, so it's important, as you grow, you team up with the right people that have a wealth of knowledge in what you're looking to do, and that's how you make a great product.
Absolutely. Now, the man to my left here, Mr. Shane, where does he fall in this whole picture?
Shane Walser started out as and I'll let him tell it too, but I'm going to brag on him for a minute because every time me and him talk is go, 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 go. So, but Shane started out as a pro staff angler for us. We immediately hit it off. He had a strong work ethic in the pro staff side, and then he had a lot of great ideas for product. And from there, it was supposed to be part-time, and I think he worked part-time for about 2 weeks, and now he's with us all the time. And now he oversees all of our retailers. He makes the decisions for stores, locations, and he plays a big part in our success in the retail industry.
It seems to me that you really you grasp or you incorporate pro staff in about everything you do. And I say that in the sense that you realize the importance of the guy who's on the water, who's using your product.
It's critical.
And there's so many companies that are like, hey, man, get in line, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I see the guys that are hashtagging Catch the Fever, that are tagging Catch the Fever. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're using your product.
Yes, sir.
But it is important. We know that we're in a world of social media now. It's all about that YouTube video. It's all about that TikTok. It's all about, putting that video out there.
That's right. I tell people all the time, you can have the best product with the best packaging, but if you don't put it in the right place, nobody's going to know your story.
Nope.
So it's important.
That's right. It's important. Now, Shane and I were talking earlier about, I've always said your rods look beautiful, but, I need a gimbal on the bottom to lock into that rod holder because I'm a king fisherman.
That's right.
And I really like the way some of those striper rods look.
We got some rods.
They got some good, for live baiting for kings, people don't understand how important that last 4 inches, 6 inches of the rod is. Are you going to pull that pogey for 30 minutes, you're going to pull that pogey for 5 minutes.
Right.
How long is he going to stay alive? It makes a difference in the rod.
That's right.
Are we going to see some saltwater stuff coming maybe?
Absolutely. I can probably already tell you there's a full lineup that's already been designed. Right now for our brand, it's really just about announcing that and introducing that at the right time.
Right.
But I think there's going to be a lot of stuff you're going to really
All right,
like.
Trilogy Outdoors, y'all hear that? Hey, you guys out there, I think this was the right time. Come on.
But here's the Striper Rod series is already blowing off the coast like crazy. It's nonstop right now.
Y'all are fishing a King tournament coming up, and you're going to
that's what Shane was saying.
2 weeks.
Which one are you fishing?
The U.S. Open in Oak Island. We'll be down there fishing it.
All right, I'm going to tell you. Get your bait, run to Yo Pond, fish for 30 minutes at Yo Pond before you make any other move. And I'm telling you this as the person who until last year, the only boat from South Carolina to ever finish in the top 3. And I caught that fish 10 minutes into the fishing time, 2016, and literally we were fishing while everybody was running the beach catching bait right there on Oak Island.
Yep.
And caught that 39-pounder with, I think it was like literally 10 minutes into fishing time.
Oh, yeah.
But don't overlook Yo Pond.
Oh,
don't
no,
even, I'm telling you, don't ever overlook Yo Pond. And Cape Fear River Channel, you know that, but there's a lot of money been won into Cape Fear River
Channel.
Channel.
A lot of money's been won not far off, that's for sure.
But speaking of money, the other thing about your stuff is, dude, it looks like it's fair priced.
It is.
You're not trying to break everybody's pocket.
Anytime we're looking at getting into a new product or we're trying to design a new product, we look at what is some of the premium things that guys would really like to have, and how can we incorporate that in a price where our goal is not to be the cheapest. If you're looking for the cheapest, we might not be in that sector for you.
Right.
But we're going to be the best price for your money that you're not going to have to go out and say, man, I wish I'd have spent a little bit more on this. So we're right there. I call us pretty much the Nikon of fishing. A Nikon optic is right there in the middle. It'll get you done any day of the week, and that's where Catch Fever is. Premium products that are hard to beat for the price.
There you go. All right, so how important is it having Whitey Outlaw involved with you for crappie?
Oh, man, it was super important. When I first got into the industry, I started doing a lot of research on who is somebody that has been in the industry that people look to for answers, who's got a lot of experience and a track record. And, everybody is a pro, but you got to have those track records that really show you put your time in. And Whitey Outlaw's name kept coming up over and over and over. So got hooked up with him. It was actually a long story. It was a funny story. That might be a whole nother show in itself, but ended up getting up with him. We started out developing fishing line. We changed that and really knocked it out of the park, and then on from there went to the rods. But
all right.
It's critical to have that input.
I know you see Joseph over there giving us the evil eye.
Yeah, he
so
is.
I know we're running out of time, but here's one thing I really, Brian, your pro staffer, did a great job today explaining, and I want you to talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Why is slime line the best choice for going crappie fishing?
Absolutely. When you're crappie fishing, a lot of times, even when you're throwing, lighter jigs and stuff like that, you need a line that has a low diameter. And that really allows you to be able to cast into the wind and really achieve maximum casting distance. But you also need a line that doesn't have too much stretch, but it has the right amount of stretch to where you can still be sensitive and still play that fish out and it work your baits like it's supposed to. So if you're a crappie fisherman and you need a high-vis line to be able to see that bite before you even feel it, we've got high-vis green, we got high-vis orange. If you're somebody who's looking for a low-vis, we've got the ultra clear. And then if you're a crappie guy that really just wants to outsmart the fish and not only hook more crappie, but land more crappie, that's where you're going to find the Slime Line Super Stretch. The Champion Edition is right at home.
Perfect. Well, everybody can find all this information out where?
They can go to catchfever.com. Check us out on our Facebook pages, our TikTok, YouTube. We explain it all right there.
There you go. All right, you're a big deer hunter too, aren't you?
I love deer hunting.
When's your season come in?
Well, our bow season's in, but with work and stuff, I haven't been able to do any bow hunt. But
you killed a nice one last year, didn't you? Or was it year
before?
Took some
picture. No, I took a lot of video of some really nice deer. I was going to hunt them this year, but my lease got sold.
Ooh,
so somebody's going to have a great year.
That hurts.
Them deer fat.
Well, let's keep selling Catch the Fever rods, and you buy that lease back.
That's exactly right.
All right, brother. Well, listen, man, thanks for taking the time, sitting down. Shane, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Joseph's got somebody else lined up. We're going to see who's next. Let's, hey, don't go anywhere. This is Trilogy Outdoors. All right, folks, I told you we'd be right back with another special guest and sponsor here at the Father and Sons Outdoors Television Media Camp. And joining us right now is Charles Sablatura of Rockport Rattler. Now, I've heard so much. Now, I'm just going to be honest. Joseph has done a great job because I've heard about it all through Joseph. Mm-hmm. But I always thought you were a crappie bait. I did. I thought you were like for crappie. So I'm getting enlightened now that it looks like we got way more than that. Real quick, explain to everybody, tell everybody about Rockport Rattler and about Charles, who you are.
Okay, well, actually, I'm just half of the team. My wife and I.
Don't forget Miss Vicky.
That's right, Miss Vicky. She's the better half of the team. She and I had bought a floundering company and closed in July of 2010. A gentleman that built basically this jig for saltwater, for fishing for redfish, trout, and flounder. It didn't look anything like that. But
his dad had invented it. His dad was a guide down the Rockport area, and when he passed away, the son tried to make a go of it. Eventually, he decided he couldn't make a go of it, and so we wound up acquiring the business from him. Now, after that, everything has completely changed.
Okay, so
we redesigned everything that was already in the portfolio, and we added a ton more that was never in the portfolio. And so the actual company name is Chicky Tackle Company. And everybody goes, where does that name come from? Well, I said, well, my name's Charles. My wife's name's Vicky.
Chicky.
So we put the two together, and it's Chicky Tackle Company. And that's truly what it is. It's a husband and wife team. We try to build on science is what we call it. What we've done is create, by putting the rattle chamber in the jig head or alongside the hook, we have swim bait hooks that we build. We have live bait hooks that we build. But everything we build has a rattle chamber alongside the hook. And what that does for you, a couple things. And some of it we found out by luck.
Well, you already mentioned earlier in the story before we went on about the trout. I'm just thinking shrimp immediately. As soon as I hear it, sounds that a shrimp would make. But keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, not at all. I mean, that's a good point. Anything a fish, whether it's saltwater, freshwater, it doesn't matter. Anything a fish feeds on makes clicking noises, whether it's shrimp, whether it's a crab, whether it's an oyster, whether it's a barnacle, whether it's a crawfish, whether it's a school of mullet, school of pin perch, school of whatever. They all, if it's a school of fish, the gill plates are making clicking noises. Every fish out there has sensories that the more of those sensories you can tickle, the more you push a fish that maybe not even in feed mode into what we call reactionary strike mode. And that's our whole purpose of doing what we do. So if you put that rattle out there, so people have been adding rattles, number one, to plastic baits for a long time. I mean,
right.
Bass anglers have been doing it, shoving a rattle in a worm or whatever, and winning bass tournaments with it. Well, in our area, in our neck of the woods, where I grew up in Corpus Christi. We now live in the Rockport area. In that area, we do a lot of wade fishing. We take our very expensive bay boat, go run somewhere, and then get out of it and go wade and try.
Exactly. Take that expensive boat so you can get out and go wading.
Yeah. So, the fish get so much pressure in our area, so you have to be stealthy. You have to get out of the boat. You don't want the wave slap on the boat, because if you can't cast a quarter of a mile out of a drifting boat, the fish are spooked already when they hear you coming a long time before you can even get a bait in front of them. And so if you're a wade fisherman, your hands are slimy, you're wet, and you're trying to shove a rattle inside of a plastic bait, every time you drop a rattle, well, there goes 50 some odd cents. And after you've done that 3 or 4 or 5 times, you finally just quit giving up on putting the rattle in. So we decided that we needed a better way. We got to figure a way, how can we embed that rattle into a jig head? And so we were the first to do it. We achieved our patent in October of 2009. I was involved in that process. And then in July of 2010, we closed on the business and acquired the assets of the company, the patent, the name, raw materials, finished goods, and the customer list. And at that point in time, we basically went into turbocharge mode and completely redesigned everything, made it professionally built, where we could produce a lot more using spin cast mold methods. And
so is it local? I mean,
we are.
For the most part?
Yes, sir. But like I said, it's my wife and I. We do have a manufacturer that we hire that does contract manufacturing for us. But yes, everything we build is
That's awesome. I just wanted to reach over. I hadn't gotten to grab anything, but they look incredible. The quality looks great. The colors look great. I'm kind of digging the eyes, Tony.
Yes,
I'm kind of digging the eyes. You can talk anytime you want to.
I don't want to interrupt. I'm busy listening.
I know.
I'm trying to learn something here. And
so what we do, and we have, like I said, we started out in the saltwater area, and we had basically initially 2 products, what we call our original and then our quick lock. And with quick lock, the only difference between
I see the quick lock's got the bait holder on it.
yeah, it's got a little keeper barb to help hold slimy plastics. And the only reason why we built the quick lock was when they came out with gulp plastic. It's such a slimy, weird bait.
Yep.
I mean, some people like it, some people love it, some people don't like it. But if you want to fish with it, you can't do it on our original. It slides off. It won't stay on. And so we built the quick lock so that we could be able to hold the slimier of baits on our hook. And so these were the first 2 products. We've expanded since then. We've added shaky head jigs for bass. We've added football jigs for bass. We've added the only rattling swim bait hook made with a belly weight and the rattle chamber built right into it. We have these in 3/0, 5/0,
Wow.
7/0. So
I like that.
we built that actually for bass.
Yep.
And then I found out my redfish guys took off with it.
They love it. Yep.
And all of my tournament redfish guys are using that to chunk at redfish tailing in the grass. They don't have to worry about it. They can rig it weedless, and they're tearing up the redfish tournament circuit.
Are there some of these in our little gift pack we got?
I do not know. I don't believe so, but I can certainly send stuff. I send you.
Man, we need to try some.
send you a
We need to
package.
try some of these, Tony. I can tell you one thing. Hey, you don't think that'll work, do you, on a flounder? Huh?
No, not a big.
We're big jig head fishermen for flounder.
Oh yeah.
Love it. That's that's our big thing. We love jig head fishing for flounder.
Well, so we had our saltwater stuff. We had some of our bass stuff made, and we actually were at ICAST. I think it was about 11 years ago now, and it was in Orlando. And we were in our booth. My wife and I were there. We had some of our friends helping us there that day, and a gentleman by the name of Whitey Outlaw.
Yep.
And his partner Mike Parrott. Now, God rest his soul, he's now deceased, and their wives, Pam Parrott and Brandy, came walking up to the booth, and they grab one of my jig heads and they shake it and they listen to it and they shake it and they listen to it. So, in typical Whitey form, in his South Carolina accent, which I probably will butcher, said, "Now what are these all about?" And I said, "Well, we put the rattle chamber right in the jig head," and one of the things that we found, and probably by accident, but actually wound up being a huge benefit for us, we always locate the rattle chamber right alongside and mate it alongside the hook.
Right.
Now we have a flange on the other end that's embedded inside the lead so it can't come out. Being that it's in the lead and mated alongside the hook, now I'm going to rig this with the plastic that completely covers that rattle chamber. But that rattle vibration and noise is picked up by the hook and picked up by the lead head, and it creates and emanates, resonates, so to speak,
right,
that vibration outside of that plastic body. And in the effect of like if you rang a dinner bell, it doesn't just go ding and it's over.
It goes ding.
Keeps going, and the vibration continues. So that's our tagline. We are a dinner bell for fish.
I think it's perfect.
I think that it is a very subtle rattle.
It
when
is.
It's inside of a plastic body like that, which can sometimes be the major key to it, because a lot of times like vibrating rattle baits, like rattle traps and stuff. Sometimes the rattle is just so doggone loud, it affects fish. Sometimes it attracts them. Sometimes it will absolutely run them off.
Absolutely. Now
it's got a subtle sound to it. It's not obnoxious, so to speak. It's kind of like a one knocker rattle instead of a bunch of BB rattles.
Correct.
And
it's got the right tone to the sound. It's got the right amount of vibration in there. One of the things we tested, because a lot of people, you say, well, you could shove a rattle in a plastic. Well, absolutely you can. And so we did that. We did some testing on that. So we have an aquarium. I built a jigging machine that takes all human intervention out of it, so it holds a rod and does the jigging for you. We had a quiet room. We filled it up full of water. We put one of our jig heads on with the plastic, and we put a non-rattling jig head on with the plastic and shoved the rattle in the plastic. And we tested with both. We had an underwater microphone connected to a laptop running dB metering software. And we just set it up on record and walked away and shut the door and let it go. So we recorded the sounds that were being made from the other, just putting a rattle inside a plastic body. And then we recorded our jig. And everything else being all equal, same plastics, everything else, ours tested 4 times louder. Now, 4 times louder underwater is much more.
It's a lot.
Much loud. I mean, because vibration and noise travels much further underwater than it does in air.
Yep.
And so what we were determined was that 4 times louder equates to about 150 yards underwater.
Wow.
So
that
now,
makes a big difference.
Makes a huge.
That's a huge difference.
Huge difference. So now you talk about let's talk about the anatomy of a fish. I have a very a good friend of mine. His name is Dr. Greg Stuntz. He is a doctor of marine sciences. He was the actual very first scholarship recipient for the CCA to award to a person getting ready to go to college.
Scholarship.
And they gave him a big scholarship, and he went and he decided to pay it back, pay it forward, and he went and got his doctorate in marine sciences. He is now fellow on the Hart Institute of Marine Sciences in Texas. He's like head of the hatchery department down there. He's on and on and on, you name it. He's a professor for University of Texas or University of Texas A&M Marine Sciences Unit. You name it. He's done it. He is extremely well, and he is a professional speaker and can talk about amazing things. And so I called him. I knew him through the CCA. And I said, Greg, I need a favor from you. I want to pay you because I want you to write an article that I want rights to the article once you write it. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I'm not going to tell you why. I said, but I want you to write an article. He said, what do you want? He said, I want you to tell me what puts a fish from dormancy into reactionary strike mode.
Yep.
That's all I want. That's all he said, what are you going on? I said, I'm not going to give you any more. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. You tell me when it's done. I knew what he was going to write already. I knew it. But I didn't want to steer him. And so, sure enough, and it's on our website, that full article that he wrote.
Right.
It's in our catalogs. I think you've gotten a copy of our catalog. It's the science behind what we do. And he says, there's sensories on a fish. And there's distances in which those sensories can be activated. And so the furthest is vibration. Well, every fish, known to man, unknown to man, have lateral lines down
Lateral
the side.
lines, yep.
And so, snook is probably the one that's most pronounced, and everybody can see that big, bold stripe right down the side. But, crappie have it, bass have it, striper certainly have it, hybrid striper have it, you name it, even catfish have it. This is lateral lines that go down the side of the fish. Well, as a fish swims, you'll notice when they're just in search mode, they're swimming right, swimming left, swimming right, exposing the right side of their lateral line, exposing the left side of the lateral line. And as something goes clickety-clickety-click over here, suddenly they can pretty much
They're going there.
They know which direction it came from,
yep.
from the vibration. It hit this side vibration or hit this side vibration. They turn. Next thing is what we call is their eardrums, otoliths that are built into the forehead of the fish. It's what you would equate to the human's eardrum. And so as you notice, as a fish gets a little bit more intensified into what he's going, he's no longer meandering back and forth left and right. Now he's kind of in attack mode and heading straight on for it. And as he gets closer, he can pick up the sound as well as vibration in the otoliths. And so now you have sound and vibration. Well, we provide that. What's the next thing? Sight. Well, we utilize bright colors, and one of the things we utilize are diamond cut, light reflecting eyes.
Eyes, and I see some little bit of flakes inside of some of these colors. Or are they solid color? I thought I saw
solid
some flake.
color eyes, but they're diamond cut. They're faceted eyes, and they're designed to catch and reflect a ton of light.
Yep.
I've been at a trade show. We had our jigs hanging up in their packs. And people have asked me, "Do you have batteries inside those? Because those eyeballs are."
They look like they got batteries on them.
It's just, and the way the jig heads are designed, they're designed to rock back and forth, and so they flash, 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 and so that they're going to see the fish is going to see it. The fish is going to see the bright colors.
Yep.
The other thing is from about the same distance is scent. Well, most baits today are scented, and if not, you can certainly add scent. I mean, it's something that we don't do for you, but we're going to allow you to. We're going to put a jig head out there that is an active participant in the bait presentation. Add a plastic, and then add.
And
scent.
then the rest is history.
And now you've done that. The last thing, last sensory is taste. And when that kicks in, it's time to set the hook.
I was getting ready to say the next thing. The taste is the only thing they're going to get is that steel.
That's right.
Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to sit with us, and also for your sponsorship of this event. And it's been our pleasure. I'm looking forward to tomorrow getting out on the water and maybe ending up on the boat with you at some point in time, or at least getting to see you out there. But we'll stay in touch with you. And Tony, have you slid a couple of those in your pocket for us to take and try? Go ahead, just grab a couple. Well, you're thinking bass. I'm thinking saltwater. I'm thinking saltwater. Put your mic in front of your head, in your mouth. There you go. Hurry up. There you go.
Buddy, J.T. Kenny. I told him at that point, that right there will catch a flounder. That's a net bait dagger, which is an awesome trailer for that jig head that you have it on. That is just one beautiful bait right there. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to take that and throw it. So if it comes up missing when you leave this table, you'll know where it went.
And and we say I've got these baits for bass. I've got these baits for, but I try to categorize my baits. But
you can't anymore.
No.
We're using whopper ploppers for bass. We're using whopper ploppers for trout.
So I built our swim bait hook for the bass community. I have them up to 7/0. And my redfish guy said, I need these in 3 and 5/0, please.
Yes, they are 100% universal.
And
every one of them.
Same thing with the shaky heads. Same thing with the football. Matter of fact, I was fishing a redfish tournament, and we came within an eighth of an inch of winning the tournament, and we went to the jetties for our final and last redfish.
And caught it.
And because of the shape of the football head and the roundness of it, it doesn't get hung up in the rocks. And so I dropped one of these down with the trailer on it. Dropped it down on the jetty rocks, and bam! And sure enough, we brought it in, but it was, again, an eighth of an inch away from being the tournament winner.
That's perfect. Well, I tell you what, thank you so much for spending time. How can somebody go see more about Rockport Rattlers? Where can they visit?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, which is rockportrattler.com. Again, please take your time when you're out there. Read the science that's out there. Read the science behind what we do. We have videos. Our jigs rig different than most jigs. I mean, when we're talking about the redfish jigs or even the crappie jigs, normally you would take a jig and put the hook dead center of the plastic. We need the barrel to be dead center of the plastic. So we say, come high, go towards the spine, stay a little bit off center with the hook. When it curves halfway, come on out. And what that will do is when it spins around, now your jig plastic will be right there dead center for the barrel, and then you just pinch, shove it on, and it's good to go. And so as long as you do that, you can, if you're fishing with any type of other plastic other than gulp, you can use the originals, and you'll be able to throw until the fish tear your plastic up. If you're using a gulp, use the quick lock, and it'll help hold that bait on.
Right.
Of course, it's going to get torn up anyway, and probably by pin perch as much as it is the fish you're going after. But outside of that, if you go, we have all the instructional videos on how to rig them, how to set them up on our website. And then certainly we have all of our products out there. And then we have all the different varieties of our products out there. We have, in just our originals alone, we have both 3/0 and 4/0 hooks. And quick locks, we have 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, and 4/0 hooks. And we have multiple weights. We have multiple colors. And so we have a color that will work in any situation. I'm an old Bill Dance. I followed Bill Dance from early on, and he always had that little board he tried to sell and promote. It was his color meter.
Put in the water and tell you the color.
Yeah, it's color meter. All it was is how deep can it go where you can still see the bottom of it. And if it's only a couple of inches, that means that water's pretty dang murky.
That's right.
And if it's murky water, guess what? What do you throw?
You throw dark colors.
Exactly. But
who would have thunk it?
You would have thunk it. Now, I've been fishing with a guide, very notable guide, and he's standing on front of the boat, and a norther blew in, and it was chocolate milk, and it was terrible conditions. and he was throwing the same bait he was throwing the day before. And we have a white jig head that we call our glow. It actually glows in the dark. He was throwing that with a Little John and New Moon color, which I don't know if you're familiar with a Little John.
I'm not.
It's a little, I don't know.
Tony, you know what Little John is.
It's like a little tube.
Yeah, the little tiny tube.
Yep. Comes down to a point, and it just darts, it's a darting bait.
Yep.
But
I
the
know
New
exactly.
Moon color is clear with blue flake in it. So they were fishing with that the day before. They slammed them the next day. Conditions completely changed, and they had all those baits rigged up. They said, we're going to use these. We killed them on it that yesterday. And I said,
nope.
Yesterday was different than today, I believe.
No.
It's now 30 degrees. It's sleeting on us. The water's probably dropped at least 3 feet out of here. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because I could see where the water was yesterday and where it is today. I said, these fish are lethargic. It's cold. I said,
every day's different.
it's murky, murky, murky water. I said, you can't throw a light-colored bait today and be successful. So I pulled out. We make a black gold eye, very similar to our blue, but black like that with the gold eye. I pulled one of our jigs out in a black gold eye, and I was fishing with a noted television host out of Louisiana. He said, I don't even know why you make that color. They're never going to sell here. And I said, well, after I whoop your butt today, excuse me for my.
You'll want to buy some. You'll want some.
After I put a punishment on you today.
Well, listen, I hate to cut you off, but we have got to get. I think we got about 10 more people lined up. But I just want to make sure everybody knows how to get back there and go check it out. Rockport Rattlers. I'll share it on the Trilogy Outdoors Facebook page as well, so you can go there. But thank you so much, Charles. We've enjoyed it. Pleasure sitting down with you. And I know Captain Joseph's got somebody else lined up. So,
all right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. All right. We said we were going to sit down with the young lady that was responsible for all this incredible food that shut up a whole room full of fishermen. Now, I'm telling you, if you can shut a room full of fishermen down, you've done something good. Let's talk real quick about this Lone Star barbecue. What are we eating? This is incredible. This is great stuff.
Well, thank you. Well, we got the barbecue we use nothing but the shoulders. The hash, we use nothing but the butts.
Wait a minute. There's no brains or anything like that in it?
No, we took all the gross parts out and we left them out.
I tell you what, it was incredible. And Tony, you got to chime in on the hash if you got a second to quit eating.
I can't. Every time my elbow bends, my mouth flies open.
So is it good? I mean, let's talk about hash real quick, because I know you're typically not a fan of hash, and I eat with you a lot at barbecue places. So
I have not eaten 3 teaspoons of hash my entire life because I'm just not a fan. That, no doubt, the best I've ever had, and hope there's a lot left to take back with me to Merle's Inlet.
Well, we appreciate you, because it's my understanding that you're one of our sponsors here for this incredible event, and this dinner tonight was brought to you by Lone Star Barbecue.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. And let's
You're
talk
welcome.
where's Lone Star Barbecue located?
It's located at 2212 State Park Road, right there in Santee, right on the way to.
You mean the real town of Santee?
The real town of Santee.
Right.
Right on the same road as you would go to the state park.
Right where all the golf courses are, right across the street from
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
And you've been there for how many years?
Well, the business has been there since 2001. Me and my husband Corey took it over in last year, April of last year.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
You don't happen to know the Pack family, do you? Stevie or Andy Pack? You happen to know them?
I do. I know all those boys. They're good
they're
guys.
good friends of mine. Stevie was
love those
texting
guys.
me earlier. They're great guys.
Yep.
I know they come over and see you a lot. Andy eats a lot. Stevie not so much.
Well.
Stevie'd rather drink dinner. But there's do you fish at all?
I do. I love to fish.
All right, what's your favorite target species?
Actually, crappie. I love crappie. Me and my dad passed 4 years ago. He had stage 4 cancer, and he was my fishing buddy. So I haven't been in 4 years since he's died.
Oh, really?
But I love to fish anything: catfish, crappie, shellcracker.
Well, you need to meet us at the dock tomorrow then, because there's quite a few people here that actually know how to catch a crappie.
Okay.
Now, contrary to the ones that I was on, but everybody else knows how to catch crappie.
No, well,
I've
told. Caught a couple.
I hear this Whitey Outlaw guy can catch one too.
He's got to show me.
Oh, I agree. That sounds like a dare. That sounded like a dare to me. That sounded like a dare. Well, I'll tell you what, honey, we appreciate this so much. You guys do catering?
Yes, we
y'all
do.
offer catering?
We do. We cater. Actually, I got a couple weddings to do this month, and I mean, we do it from the top end to the bottom end. We don't care. We'll cook it for anybody.
There you go.
We enjoy it.
So if you're out there listening in Trilogy Outdoors Land and you're coming to Santee, whether it's to come go fishing or play golf, which is still popular here.
Or just camp.
Or just camp. That's right, because you guys are really close to the big state campground.
Yeah, we're in the middle, the state campground, and plus, on this side, you've got, 4 or 5 different campgrounds on this side. There's 5 or 6 on the other side of I-95.
Right.
So, yeah, we're right in the middle.
So if you want to just come to the lake and relax and have fun, just call over and put an order in and let you come cater.
Let me cook. Y'all enjoy the lake.
That's the way. I'll tell you what, it'll be worth it. There's no doubt about it. Tony, what else you got to say?
How far do y'all go?
Put your mic in front of your mouth. Put your mic in front of your mouth instead of your fork.
How far do y'all go to cater?
Well, I really don't have a limit. I'm not going to go 20 miles for one plate, but I don't really have a limit on that. I've taken to Camden. I've gone to Columbia. If it's...
So, Tony, are you asking her if she'll come to Merle's Inlet to
you
cater?
Want me to come to Merle's Inlet?
Pretty much.
Well,
Pretty much.
Give me a little bit of notice. I got to make sure I got enough help.
Well, I tell you what, we thank you so much. And on behalf of Father and Sons Outdoors TV and Whitey Outlaw and Joseph, I know they appreciate it. But if you want to get out on the water, you can have my spot tomorrow. I'll go sit and ride around with Joseph and just film everything.
I wish I could go. I got to work.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to get back to eating. And thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Y'all go visit her at Lone Star Barbecue. You have a website?
Well, I have a email. I'm in an email.
A Facebook page.
A Facebook
That's
page.
probably the best thing anymore. We all do Facebook.
It's
just
like,
Lone Star Barbecue.
Lone Star Tavern and Grill.
Tavern and Grill.
We actually have a bar in there, and we're gonna upgrade.
That's even better.
So, yeah, you got adult beverages while you eat some incredible barbecue.
That's right, and I'm gonna add on to that this year. We're gonna do like short order.
Okay.
For the people who just don't want a whole big buffet, because we have the buffet.
Okay.
So I was going to do some short order to, do that, for the people who don't want the big meals.
Perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, we enjoyed our meal tonight, and thank you so much.
Well, I enjoyed being here. I really
Well,
did.
thank you. Y'all have a good time. All right, let's see who we're going to find next. Joseph's out trying to find somebody right now. All right, folks, two last guests. Hang on. We got 2 last guests going to close the show with us today, and it's once again Mr. Caleb Page from Catch the Fever and the one and only Whitey Outlaw here. But we mentioned earlier when we talked with Caleb about the precision rods.
That's right.
That you guys are putting out and Whitey's kind of input that you've had on those. Let's talk about the precision rods. And Whitey, we got you here now. Let's talk about where they came from. What's important with a crappie rod? I mean, you're going crappie fishing. Does it matter?
Yeah. A lot of guys just think it's a crappy rod. It's just a rod to fish with. Well, it's not. It's got a lot more thought in it. It's got 40-something years of me tournament fishing in there because I've had my hands on a lot of good poles. I can't make a pole or have a pole made for everybody, but I can make a pole that will fit 90% of the people. I know what you need to do certain things because I've been fortunate enough to be doing it for my whole life. But, I think that with Catch the Fever, me and Caleb teamed up on some fishing line back here about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it's going on 4 anyway. We teamed up on some fishing line, and we made the one and only super stretch fishing line in the country. Maybe the world. I don't know, because I ain't never seen none nowhere else.
No, it's one of a kind.
It is.
We checked.
And it's been a hit. So me and him talked. I was with another rod company for 35 years, and I left that company. And me and him kind of said, I like the way his work ethic is for a young guy. He's really a go-getter. He does everything first class. And his catfish rods and striper rods are leading the market by far. More records been set on his stuff than anybody's. And we talked one night just sitting around having a little social get-together, and he said, how about some crappie rods? I said, well, okay. So we started designing. It took us 2 years to get what we wanted. We broke a lot of rods now. Don't get me wrong. We went through a lot of shipping back and forth overseas, back and forth thinging, that finally we come down to say, hey, this is it. And I do believe that we've done enough videos picking up 3 and 4 and 5 pound weights with our stuff that we got the best.
That's right, absolutely.
And our casting rods, we got 6, 7s, and 8s. And then on our jig poles, we got 3 different styles of handles, and we got them 10, 11s, and 12s. And we coming out with some more stuff. We got some what we call live scoping rods. It's going to be 13 and 14s. They in the works because we don't. Me and him both agreed on one thing. We don't want to hit the market with something that's inferior or something that somebody's going to talk about and say it ain't worth the money.
Right.
So if you come out swinging first class, I think you go down first class.
Yeah. Now you're calling your live scope rod, and it's 13 or 14 foot. Now is that because you're trying to reach to what you're reading? I'm just I'm going off of what I saw today on the boat. Are you trying to a rod that you can fish what you're looking at in front of the boat, or?
A lot of guys, and me, I come up vertical jigging. I love
Right.
to flip that jig out there and feel him stomp it. I love that. I love that hit. And it's a little bit different than casting. A lot of guys like to cast it. A lot of guys like to flip out there, pitch that jig, and let it go down with a little bit bigger jig head or what have you, and feel that stomp. But another thing, you want to make sure that it's stiff enough. When you hang that fish out there, you flipping 28 feet, the rod plus 14 foot of
Right.
line. You throwing out 28 feet. When you catch that fish, you won't be able to snatch a 2-pound fish up and flip him in the boat. You do not want to have to take time with no net because that's where you lose a lot of fish.
Yep.
So you won't be able to snatch him up out the water and throw him in there. And now, don't get me wrong, in a tournament, I'm going to dip 2-pound fish. I ain't flipping 2-pound fish. I don't, never happen. I don't care what kind of rod you got. You fishing for money, you an idiot if you flip 2-pound fish. And a lot of guys, they get off on that. Hey, we making fishing poles for regular guys that like to go out here and fish with good quality stuff, because if we sit back and say we just going to target tournament fishermen,
Yep.
we'll go broke.
He's right.
We will starve to death because
Yeah.
there's no given time you got over 150 teams nowhere in the country at one time fishing a tournament. So if we just hit 150 people, we're done 6 months ago.
That's right.
Before we even got started. So we targeting stuff, price line, durability, return value on it. When I say return value, when you go out there and buy 8 rods, and you spend $600, that's an investment.
Yep.
That ain't just throwing it out the window. That's an investment on tackle. And, if you go out there and buy a $75,000 bass boat, $3,000 worth of electronics per unit, why do you want some junk?
Yeah.
Fish with good stuff. It's got a good name. And if you break it, call the people that stand behind it. We got replacement parts coming. We got anything.
You stand behind your product too. I know
100%. I mean, you can have a product, you can market it well, and you can get somebody's business the first time, but it's how you treat them, after the purchase is made is if you're going to get not only their repeat business, but if you're going to get the person that's also fishing with them in the boat, if they're going to switch to it, because we all know things are going to happen. We can build you a rod that's never going to break, but you're never going to want to fish with it. It'd actually be the worst fishing pole you ever put in your hand. But so guys know they're looking for something that performs, it's durable, but if they do have an issue, we're going to stand behind it 100%. We have a good name, and keeping a good name is just as much as important as running day-to-day business.
Yep.
And if you build a pole that won't break, it's so heavy, somebody got to feed you at night because you can't pick your arms up. But he and I both, and all of the pro staffers we got, and all the office people, we look at the guys that come in, call, to talk as customers and friends and building relationships, not victims.
Right.
Not a victim. Everybody's been a victim of some company that didn't stand behind something.
Amen.
So we got customers, not victims.
Yeah.
So,
And we think about the angler. Before this, we're not only creating products, but we're fishermen too. And how many times have you had something that you accidentally stepped on a rod or anchor hit the rod or something happened, and you're like, man, I fish. Like, I need a replacement. I need it quick. So we've got the mindset of a fisherman. We're not just sitting back here in the office. We don't have some high chair that we're out of touch. We understand that guys fish. They don't have a problem if there is an issue. They just want to know it can get fixed quick.
Right. That's important.
That's right.
That's important. You two make a dynamic duo, by the way.
Well, we hit it off pretty good. And, I think the world of the boy. I mean, he's a lot younger than I am, but far as business-wise, I put his thinking. I let him do my thinking most any time because he's really proved to me. And that's what caught my eye. I told my wife, I said, You know, every now and then you run across somebody in life that just catches your eye that you really feel close to, and then you like the way they operate. Everything he does, even down to the T-shirts that he lets us get from him and wear, is the best T-shirts on the market. I mean, it don't cost what they always say, it don't cost but a dime to go first class, but sometimes it costs a little more than that, but it's worth it.
That's right. That's right. Well, absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing those when they come out and get those things down on the coast. Tony, we'll have to give them a shot in the river.
You better know it.
In the intercoastal.
I'd love to try them.
By the way, does Zach Royce fish your stuff?
He does.
I thought so.
He was our first pro staff angler for the brand.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's another good dude.
He is.
And I think I actually probably, you know, through social media, obviously with his 100-pound craziness back to back or whatever.
Yeah.
We had him on the radio show with us, and I think through following him might have been where I was introduced to you finally.
Probably so.
But both of y'all incredible, and you know, Whitey just said the same thing. I mean, from following you on social media and never meeting you before, watching how your business has grown, like you do everything right. You do it first class. You are there. You are the face of the company, and you seem to make yourself accessible to everybody, and that's what people want.
Yeah.
That's what people want. I mean, you're riding around in a beautiful bass boat. I'm not going to lie. But I guarantee you I couldn't get in touch with the owner of that company if I wanted to.
No, you could not. And
Exactly.
Well,
but
he paid anyhow. But
huh?
Mr. Ranger.
Forrest Wood, he passed.
No, wait a minute. I thought you were in a other boat today.
My son,
his.
He's got that new Camus.
Oh, okay. Well, I was talking about that one. Okay, never mind.
Hey, you're
but
right.
I know him, but I know I couldn't get in touch with him.
That's right. That Camus is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And it's fast.
Yep, it's a beautiful boat.
He scared me last week, and I told him, I said, I'm good. I'm riding with Whitey from here on out. Well, Whitey will scare you all by himself. He'll scare you in a 14-foot John boat with a 9.9. But you go on the boat with any of these guys with a 200 horsepower, yeah.
Well, Captain Joseph took me one time with him down below Wilson Dam to go crappie fishing and said, oh, by the way, we got the first quarter mile, we got to go over a couple rocks. And I'm like, what? Kadoom.
Oh, yeah.
Kadoom.
Yep.
I was like, well, how much further of this we got? Yep. Oh, it'll be good.
Yep.
But then we got down there, and I think Joseph told you it was crazy. I think we caught 60-something fish, 3 other boats fishing around us, maybe 5 fish total. And they were not happy at all because we were celebrating, slapping high fives, and we were filming. I mean, you know, we were having fun. But, man, I tell you what, I look forward to another day. Caleb, incredible meeting you finally. Whitey, thank you so much for the invite. And, folks, we're going to get on out of here. It's been a great show. Thank these guys so much. And, listen, Trilogy Outdoors podcast is so much more than just a podcast. Go pick up our magazine, Trilogy Outdoors Magazine, located everywhere in the Southeast and South Carolina. Also, don't forget, every Saturday morning live on the Gator 107.9, the Southern Anglers Radio Show. iHeart app, you can listen to it wherever you are. And, of course, Trilogy Outdoors podcast on all of your platforms out there. Click subscribe, like, and catch us every week because you know what? Every week it's going to be all about the fins, fur, and feathers, and you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.
Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also, don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'Em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.